In January 2013, the state of Ohio implemented a statewide electronic performance management application called ePerformance. In the next several minutes, we will explore a couple of key elements of the ePerformance evaluation templates in more detail. These elements are goals and competencies. After you complete this training, we hope you will understand the difference between a goal and a competency, as well as why it is important to understand each. Let's get started. First, let's examine goals. Simply stated, goals may be defined as the results that employees should aim to achieve as set forth by management. They can also be viewed as the measurable outcomes that are achieved by a series of action steps. A well-written goal follows the SMART acronym. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Goals can be related to your specific position or classification, a specific project, competencies, an identified career development plan, or an established performance improvement plan. With this in mind, let's take a look at a specific goal. Joe and Ben are both Program Administrator 1s in the same work area. Their duties include answering complex questions related to their program area. Their customers are primarily other state employees who make contact by telephone. Both have the goal of returning voicemail messages within one business day as part of their ePerformance annual appraisal document. On average, they receive 3 voicemail messages per day. Their goal has been written with the SMART acronym in mind. It is specifically focused on returning messages and measurable by the time period to return calls. Unless extreme circumstances prevent returning voicemails, the goal is attainable as well as realistic. Finally, its deadline is each business day, making it timely. From what you've learned so far, which of the items on your screen best demonstrates a SMART goal? Next, let's look at competencies. The state of Ohio defines a competency as a measurable pattern of knowledge, skills, abilities, and other characteristics designed to reflect the behaviors and how employees complete their assignments. This definition was adapted from the Society for Human Resource Management, as well as the International Public Management Association for Human Resources. It is important to note that competencies are not assigned to an individual employee, but rather to a particular classification, a specific agency, or the state as a whole. A good example of a competency is customer focus, Ohio's statewide competency. An employee with this competency focuses on the customer, whether internal or external, by understanding the needs of the customer and responding in a timely fashion, responding to customer feedback, and seeking out help and information from the appropriate resource when needed. Now that we've explored what competencies are, let's look at a few examples of how customer focus impacts the workplace. Sally and Kate work with Joe and Ben as Program Administrator 1s in the same work area. Their duties also include answering complex questions related to their program area. Their customers are primarily other state employees who make contact by telephone. Let's examine how Sally demonstrates customer focus. Observing Sally, you'll notice that she does not take much time to understand the issue the caller is trying to express. You'll also notice that she often allows her calls to be answered by her voicemail, returning messages within a week. If she does not know or understand the appropriate answer, you'll find that she generally makes up a response as she goes, which results in Sally's customers reporting to her manager frustration by her lack of support and direction. Next, let's take a look at Kate. Observing Kate, you'll notice that she asks clarifying questions to understand all underlying issues in order to provide accurate responses or courses of action. You'll also notice that if calls are answered by her voicemail, she returns the messages by the following business day. If she does not know the appropriate response, you'll find that she seeks assistance from her peers and manager. For these reasons, you'll find that Kate's customers provide feedback to her manager that they are happy with the assistance she offers. Whose behavior do you think best demonstrated our statewide competency of customer focus? Now that we've defined and identified both a goal and a competency, let's compare the two. Goals are the outcomes managers expect of their employees. Competencies are an employee's knowledge, skills, and abilities reflected in the underlying behaviors observed when employees complete their assignments. Competencies have been selected to help employees reach their goals more effectively. A key similarity between the two is that both are based upon job performance. Also, both goals and competencies are measurable. Managers measure goals by evaluating the outcome of a given assignment, and competencies are measured by observing an employee's behavior. Let's discuss an example. A data entry operator is required to type 10,000 keystrokes per hour. Because this has a measurable outcome, this is a goal. A data entry operator receives a request from a customer that needs completed within a half hour, but the amount of text to be entered would typically take 1 hour. In order to meet the customer's need, he seeks help from his peers or manager. Because this is related to the employee's behavior, it is a competency. Let's look at a few additional examples. If an employee's goal is to construct 20 widgets per hour, a related competency evaluated might be controlling machines, which looks at the use of either control mechanisms or direct physical activity to operate machines. If another employee has a goal to administer medication to patients every other hour throughout a 12-hour shift, a related competency evaluated would be assisting and caring for others, which involves providing medical attention to others. Finally, if an employee's goal is to update paper-based files once per week, a related competency evaluated would be performing administrative activities, which looks at performing routine administrative tasks such as maintaining information files. These 3 examples were derived from the State of Ohio's list of competencies. For more information, including definitions, visit DAS's ePerformance Toolkit online at das.ohio.gov/ePerf-toolkit. Now it's your turn. Which of the on-screen statements best represents a goal? Which one best represents a competency? Now that we've discussed goals and competencies, why is it important to understand them? As you meet with your manager, it is important to read through your performance evaluation carefully to ensure you understand the goals and competencies set forth. If a goal does not meet the SMART criteria, talk about it with your manager and work together so you understand your manager's performance expectations. Remember that the two are often confused because they seem so similar. Keep in mind, goals measure outcomes and competencies measure behaviors. An easy way of remembering the difference between the two is that the goals measure what should be delivered and competencies measure how the goals should be delivered. To review, we've learned that a goal may be defined as a result that employees should aim to achieve. It can also be viewed as a measurable outcome that is achievable by a series of action steps. We've also learned that a competency is a measurable pattern of knowledge, skills, abilities, and other characteristics designed to reflect the behaviors in how employees complete their assignments. Finally, we've learned that it is important to understand the similarities and differences between the two so we can ensure the most meaningful performance evaluations possible. Thank you for learning about goals and competencies. If you have questions, please contact DAS's ePerformance Group via email at eperformance@das.ohio.gov or via phone at 800-409-1205. Select option 6.